you do have one guy who, yeah, he's smaller, he's on, but he's a top fighter. He can punch, and he's fighting a guy who's not a top pro fighter, who's bigger.
I can see Tank just outboxing him and making it real easy.
Tank Davis is a violent human being. He's a savage. And he didn't feel in his element. It's a real thing. It's a real thing. If you're from the hood, you will know.
Boxing experts say Jake Paul has no real chance of surviving against Gervonta Tank Davis. Shocker Stevenson explained that even though Jake is much bigger, his size won't help him beat Tank. He believes Tank's skill and experience will control the fight. Shocker predicts that Tank won't go for a knockout since Jake is too big to drop easily, but will outbox him completely and win by decision.
Difference between these two guys.
I mean, size will play some part of the fight, but if I'm thinking like I'm Tank, I'm probably just gonna go out there and try to outbox him and use my knowledge and IQ against him. So I can see Tank just outboxing him and making it real easy.
Is there any way you could, any realistic or legitimate way in your mind, you could see Jake Paul winning a fight against Tank?
No.
No way.
Nope.
Not a lot of people have talked about Jake and said he's got good power. Not even the, and I get anything could technically happen, but you don't even see a realistic shot where he could land one big punch and Tank being so much smaller, he just can't handle the power.
Nah, not at all. I think Tank is he's been boxing his whole life. Been boxing since a kid, so I doubt like that's gonna be an issue or problem. I think Jake is good for where he's at, but I think it's just levels.
Do you see a more likely chance that Tank wins by decision or by knockout?
By decision. I mean, that guy's too big. I don't think that he's just gonna knock that guy out. So I see him like outboxing him.
Could you see a realistic possibility where Tank could knock him out? Although more likely that it is, like you just said, a decision.
Nah, I don't see him knocking him out. No.
Will you watch Shakur? I mean,
No.
obviously, no.
Hell no. Nah, that ain't really like. I mean, like I said, here's the thing. Like I got two sides of me when it comes down to I got a business side, then I got a competitor side. And from the competitive aspect, it don't excite me for me to be like, okay, I want to watch it.
The adult said that Tank has already proven he can handle taller and bigger fighters like Ryan Garcia. He reminds everyone that Ryan was not only taller, but also faster and explosive. Yet Tank still figured him out and won clearly. The YouTuber, an analyst, believes that if Tank could close the distance against Ryan, who had real boxing experience, then Jake Paul will be no different. Jake's size may look like an advantage on paper, but boxing is about distance, timing, and ring IQ, all areas where Tank is excellent. He believes Tank has mastered reading his opponent's movements and setting traps. Once Jake steps in the ring, Tank's skills will show fast.
Emotionally, see if he's rattled. See, when it's all said and done, the whole talking shit goes out the window. Jake's scared. And let me tell you this too. I looked at that. I'm sizing them up. I'm looking at Tank, and Jake, and I'm looking at him. Tank can reach him too. He reached Ryan Garcia. He reached Mario Barrios. I was like, he ain't gonna be able to reach him. He's gonna reach him. I saw Tank's gonna reach him. He knows he's gonna reach him. Listen, I want to say this too. Funny as hell. Before I say all this, Alicia Bumgardner, shout out to you, girl. I couldn't believe out of all the women to be the first one to do 3 minute, 12 rounds is Alicia Bumgardner. Not really known for having great endurance, great stamina, and she's doing this shit. Shout out to Alicia Bumgardner. Because what's her name? Layla? I don't really know her like that. But she looks like she ain't rattled by Alicia. So that's a perfect dance partner for that. Trying to drag Alicia Bumgardner into lake water, see what's going on with that. Shout out to Alicia Bumgardner. But let's get back to Tank. First of all, Tank knows what he's doing. Tank Davis, he said, what he was just making all these implications that it's going to be scripted. When he said, you're paying me, and then he was like, yo, you're going to have to give me extra. And then he said that this is scripted.
At the end of the day, I gave this little guy an opportunity. He should be thanking me. I'm paying him. I'm his boss. He reports to me, and I'm going to fucking son him on November 14th. So fuck you, little man.
You pay me? Are you paying me?
Yeah.
100%? 100%. Facts?
Correct.
Yes? Correct?
Correct. I'm your daddy.
40.
Tries Algieri praised Gervonta Davis for always bringing huge attention to boxing whenever he fights. According to him, boxing today is not just about skill. It's about who can attract fans and bring energy back to the arenas. Tank has become a symbol of that new era. Every time he fights, he excites both hardcore boxing fans and casual viewers. Algeria also said that Jake Paul, though not as skilled, has played a similar role by bringing new fans into the sport, people who might not have watched boxing otherwise. He believes both men are good for boxing because they attract different audiences.
About the face of boxing could be Jake Paul soon, and it's
But that's what I'm saying.
the
I have
face
just
of
as much
boxing is
criticism to be there.
basically yeah. The face of boxing now is based on if you sell and if people tune in and how many eyes are tuning in when you fight. Gervonta Davis had that. Jake Paul has that. Now they're fighting each other.
Again,
These are truly
these are created
after this
products. These are still created products. Jake made his name going to Walgreens and making funny faces. You know what I mean? And it was just blowing up on YouTube and whatnot, right? I mean, that's how he started.
The world we live in now, dude. It's unfortunate.
Okay,
It's not like Sugar Ray Leonard, who
so-
was the best fighter in the world and marketable. It's not like Oscar De La Hoya, who
So
was
again,
a gold medalist,
yeah.
great fighter, and marketable.
But what I'm saying is technology allows us to make, if I want to take this shoe off right here, and I say I want to make my Nike sneaker into the best product possible, and I got enough money to push it behind it. I put it all over your social media platform, and I put it all over your TV set and all over your phone and all over everything. You know what, bro? You're going to start to get curious about the shoe.
Or Charleston White dismissed Jake Paul's boxing career as entertainment disguised as boxing. He said Jake's fights don't feel like real professional matches. They're staged to get views and make money. According to him, Jake hasn't fought any real top-tier boxer who could truly test his skills and endurance. Charleston's words reflect what many boxing purists think, that Jake is using boxing as a marketing tool, not as a craft. He believes that if Jake ever fights someone like Gervonta Davis, the difference in skill will be clear. Davis's training, reflexes, and experience against world champions would expose Jake's weaknesses. For Charleston, Jake's popularity can't hide the truth. Exhibitions don't make legends. Real fights.
YouTube boxing and what people say is going on in the media, without a doubt, I think Charleston White is 100% right about that. Don't believe anything you hear. Don't believe anything you see. Wait to see how things play out, and ultimately everything will come out in the wash. Well, going into this fight with Gervonta Davis, I had my concerns about the fight because of he's the same type of reasoning that Charleston White used, except for mine is slightly different. I don't think that either one of these guys are going to try to do too much damage to each other. Number one, because if it's scripted, which more than likely to an extent it will be, Gervonta Davis is not going to put himself in a situation where Jake Paul is going to actually be able to hurt him. And with these 12-ounce gloves on top of Gervonta Davis's hands, which is bigger, 2 ounces bigger, I do believe.
Atlas, one of the most respected voices in boxing, compared Jake Paul versus Gervonta Davis to the time Logan Paul fought Floyd Mayweather. He said that while Jake might have a size advantage, Tank's experience will decide the outcome. Atlas described Tank as a dancer, a fighter who controls rhythm, pace, and energy inside the ring. He explained that Tank has faced dangerous opponents all his life and developed the instincts to break down anyone, no matter their size. Jake, however, lacks the sharpness and awareness needed at that level. Atlas said boxing isn't about size or muscle. It's about precision and control. Every move Tank makes is calculated. Every punch has a reason.
So I liked this when I heard it. No, I didn't like it, to be honest, for the optics and everything else I just said. But you do have one guy who, yeah, he's smaller, but he's a top fighter. He can punch, and he's fighting a guy who's not a top pro fighter, who's bigger. What if he hits him on the chin? What if he hits him on the chin? It'll wind up selling. And that's what'll wind up selling it. The what if. What if Tank makes him do a cha-cha? He hits him on the chin, and Jake Paul, we're going to find out if he can dance. Whoa, 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 whoa. You know, do the cha-cha. That's what's going to sell it. And you can't argue that what if. You can't. I know I get to places that other people won't go and everything else. They just dismiss stuff because it's easier to do that. It's safer to do that. You don't have the bows and arrows coming at you from people that argue with you because you did that. But I don't care. I've had bows and arrows my whole life. I don't care. But that's true. That what if? What if this guy who is a real good puncher, who is one of the best fighters in the world right now, what if he hits him? What if he makes a miss and he counters him? Or he jumps up in the air? Jump up in the air. Bang!
Shabazz, the adult, also talked about Gervonta Davis's personality outside the ring. He said Tank might not be the best speaker or businessman, but that's not what makes him dangerous. Tank's confidence comes from where he grew up, a tough environment that taught strength, not speeches. Shabazz pointed out that Tank's body language says everything. He never looks scared, nervous, or overwhelmed. When he faces his opponents, there's a silent confidence that speaks louder than words. While Jake Paul is good at promoting fights and using media attention, Tank's aura doesn't depend on marketing.
Tank Davis is a violent human being. He's a savage. And he didn't feel in his element. It's a real thing. It's a real thing. If you're from the hood, you will know. It's kind of like taking a guy from the block and putting him in the corporate world in a business meeting. He's going to be so out of his element that he's just, he doesn't even know how to argue without sounding like, I'm going to whoop your ass, I'm going to beat you. The way Jake was doing things, he had the clowns coming out.
Not everyone believes Tank can beat Jake Paul. Some analysts remind fans that weight classes exist for a reason. They say Tank's power and speed are unmatched at lightweight, but fighting someone as heavy as Jake changes everything. Boxing follows the laws of physics. A 135-pound fighter facing someone who walks around at 190 pounds faces huge disadvantage in reach, strength, and endurance. These analysts believe that even if Tank lands clean punches, Jake's heavier body might absorb them better. Tank's power might not have the same effect against a much bigger opponent.
All of a sudden, we want to know, who will win in this fight? Jake Paul or Tank Davis? It's a legit question. And I actually want to really hear your thoughts on who do you think is going to win. Because I know what Vegas is saying, but I want to know what you think. You got
Personally, I think Tank too little, bro.
Yo,
I think Tank's too little.
I'm so glad you have a brain on your fucking shoulder.
I think Tank's
the
too
way
little.
I did. I said, bro.
I think Tank's too little. That's what I'm saying. That weight class is for a reason.
Davis
That weight class is for a reason.
5'5", 135 pounds. Jake Paul is 6 feet, 205
That's what I'm
pounds,
saying.
bro.
He's too
6'1",
little.
205. Everybody's like, yeah, bro, but Tank it only takes one good punch. Yes, it takes one good punch when you're about the same size. There's a 60, 70-pound difference in weight in these people. I don't think nobody puts the physics in mind. Jake Paul gets punched in the face by dudes 200 pounds with all their might on a weekly basis. A 135-pound puncher, bro. If y'all remember the Mayweather versus Conor McGregor fight, Conor walks around like 180 on the regular. He's like 5'9", 180. Mayweather's like 5'7", 145. That 30-pound, 20, 30-pound difference, bro, if you remember that fight, Mayweather was putting mittens on Conor. Guess what happened to Conor? He didn't hit the ground once.
No.
He lasted all 12 rounds getting hit with flurries. I'm talking about Mayweather was having his time. He's being cocky with it, hitting him with all kind of combos. And we're watching the last 3 rounds of that shit like, yo, knock him out. And you know what? He could not knock him out because Conor gets punched by people that are 170, 180 pounds on a regular. And just that 20, 30-pound difference, it was like impossible for him to do anything. And that's exactly what I feel like is going to happen versus Jake and Tank.